أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We have been discussing during these 10 sessions the life and virtues, the sermon and martyrdom of Fatimah Zahra Salamullahi alayha. In this session, the 10th session, we are going to be discussing the events after her martyrdom. And it is in itself a very tragic event that she was buried at night and her grave still remains hidden. We have many different scholars who believe different versions where she is buried, but nevertheless, this hadith that bayna qabri wa minbari rawdatun min riyadil jannah, between my member, my pulpit and my grave, there is a garden from the gardens of paradise. Some scholars believe this is an indication towards the grave of Hazrat Fatimah Zahra Salamullahi alayha, and they believe that's where she is buried, in Masjid. The others believe that she is buried in Jannatul Baqi. Some believe that she is buried in the house of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So we don't know where she is, and the Imams never indicated where she may be. Many scholars have tried to work out and have carried out many amal, many special actions and ibadat and acts of worship to find out where she is buried, and they were told that they cannot find out. It will be only the 12th Imam alayhi salam, Imam al-Mahdi, who will truly say where she is buried. So now there are many events that are mentioned after her martyrdom. One, it still is a dispute amongst all scholars or amongst different Muslims about where she truly is, and secondly, what happened. Did really anything happen pertaining further? Well, everyone knows that many things happened, but generally the public and the masses don't know the details. But the scholars do know that a lot happened and she was deprived of her right, but they do not wish to discuss it, and it still remains an unknown fact to most of the people, or most of the Muslims, in fact, the details about her life. Now, I want to mention what Imam Ali alayhi salam said about her. He said, Fatimah was a flower that was given to me, that was taken away from me very quickly, and he says that the fragrance and the perfume of that flower still remains in my breath. I can still smell the beautiful smell of Fatimah Zahra. And when the Holy Prophet had asked Imam Ali alayhi salam about Fatimah, how he found her, he said, وَجَدْتُهَا خَيْرَ عَوْنٍ فِي طَاعَةِ اللَّهِ. I found her to be the greatest help, the greatest assistance in فِي طَاعَةِ اللَّهِ, in the obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Hassan and Hussain alayhi salam have praised her, and everyone talks about her, the Imams, and each one of the Imams remembers the tragedies she went through, especially Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Throughout his life, whenever anyone ever said to him, for the sake of your mother, please forgive me, or for the sake of your mother, please bestow something to me, he would do that. And when asked by different people, why do you take this so seriously, he said, because anyone who ever comes to me and says, for the sake of your mother, I cannot reject him. So when a person said to him, he was being disrespectful, Marwan was being disrespectful to Imam Ali alayhi salam in Masjid al-Nabi, he was cursing him and using abusive language against Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. So the brothers of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, especially Al-Abbas, asked him for the permission. Imam Hassan alayhi salam, he said, shall I go and punish him, and Imam Hassan pointed yes. So he was dragging him out of the masjid, and Marwan knew that I will be now killed. So because he was being disrespectful, it was when Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam was carrying him out, Marwan turned to Imam Hassan and said, for the sake of your mother, please tell Abbas to not hit me or kill me. So Imam Hassan alayhi salam said, let him go. And when asked later, why did you say that? He said, because I cannot refuse a person when he says or talks to me and says, for the sake of your mother. So each one of the Imams, especially Imam Hussain alayhi salam, when he's going for Karbala, he goes to the grave of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then he also visits the grave of his mother. He goes to the grave of his grandfather, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and says, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Jadda, oh my grandfather, I'm leaving your ummah, your people are not allowing me to live in Medina, so I have to now leave for Iraq, for Karbala. And when he leaves, he cries and he faints and he sees the Holy Prophet in his dream, and then likewise he goes to the grave of his mother. So it was very important for the Aimma alayhimus salam. They did not disclose it to the other people, but they always were very attached to the grave of their mother. Salamullah alayha. Likewise, the Imams after the first three Imams. Some people have also mentioned a tradition, some scholars reported a tradition where when she comes back home and when she leaves the court of the first caliph and she's leaving and she's deprived of her right, she says, today you have deprived me of my right, but remember, my son Mahdi will come. My son Mahdi will come and he will take revenge from every atrocity carried out against me. So you can imagine how much she loved Imam Mahdi alayhi salam and her great-great-grandson. And this also indicates that what is the importance of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, because with the presence of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam and the presence of Imam Hassan and Hussain alayhi salam, she does not call them, and she calls on to Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, because she knows that it will be him whose hands will not be tied up, and he will be able to do things more openly. So each one of the Imams has something about her, and they had all of the Imams. Imam Ali alayhi salam respected her very much, and he did not marry anyone during his marriage with Fatimah Zahra salam alayha, because of the respect that he had for Fatimah Zahra, and no one ever could share the life of Ali ibn Abi Talib with Fatimah Zahra, because she was so holy and so noble and so virtuous. But he always, even after her shahadat, there is a tradition that Malik al-Ashtar said to Imam Ali alayhi salam that, Ya Ali, why don't you color your beard? Your beard has turned white and people may think that you have now gone old and they may not take you as a serious warrior. So why don't you dye your beard? And Ali ibn Abi Talib said, dyeing the beard is a sign of happiness, and I am still in mourning. I am still in grief. Now, Ibn Abd al-Hadid al-Mu'tazili and others have said that this may be the grief of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but the Holy Prophet did not see the atrocities that Fatimah Zahra faced, salamun alaiha. So therefore, I do believe that when he says that I am in grief and therefore I will not dye my beard because it is a sign of happiness. So he was aggrieved, or he was in grief of Fatimah Zahra salamun alaiha, and that is for sure, because sermon number 202 in Nahj al-Balagha clears that وَأَمَّا حُزْنِي فَسَرْمَدٌ, and as for my grief, it is eternal. I am in eternal grief after losing Fatimah Zahra in the way that I have lost her. So each Imam has mentioned, but like Imam Muhammad Taqi alayhi salam or Imam al-Kazim alayhi salam or Imam Raza alayhi salam asks his son Imam al-Jawad, Imam Taqi alayhi salam, why are you crying so much? He says that I remember the atrocities against my grandmother Fatimah Zahra salamun alaiha, and it reminds me of the tragedies that she went through, and I want to take revenge from each one of the people who have oppressed her. But nevertheless, there are certain things, there are certain associations between the 12th Imam alayhi salam that he has from each one of the Imams. So he, for example, he in Ziyarat al-Nahiyya says that our eyes are wounded when crying for you, O Hussein. And he says that I will cry day and night. And if my tears dry out, فَبَدَلَتْ دُمُوعِ دَمًا, I will cry, I will shed blood from my eyes if my tears dry up. So this is a sign how much he was grieved for Imam Hussain alayhi salam. But he can never forget the tragedy and the problems that his grandmother Fatimah Zahra salam alayha faced. We have many traditions for how he will handle the whole situation when he comes back. So he will basically take revenge. Ya Lasarat al-Hussein, his flag will say, the banner will read, the ones who will take revenge for, he's the one who venges for Imam Hussain alayhi salam, but also for the other Aimma alayhi salam, but especially for Imam Hussain alayhi salam. So he will basically make the people pay back for each one of the infallibles, for the prophets and the Aimma alayhi salam and Fatimah Zahra salam alayha. Something that is common between Fatimah Zahra and Imam Hussain alayhi salam, they both broke their ribs. Fatimah Zahra lost her ribs between the door and the wall, and Imam Hussain alayhi salam lost his ribs under the trampling when the horses trampled his body. When the horses were running over his body, they trampled his. So therefore, there are many, many things common between Fatimah Zahra salam alayha and the other A'imma alayhim salam. I want to mention a few traditions that show us her position. One is from Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, and some say it is from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. That tradition says that when the Imams in Tafsir Furat al-Kufi and other traditional books, when the Imams were asked about Laylatul Qadr, what is the grand night? Imam al-Islam said, Al-Layla Fatimah wal Qadr Allah, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr. We have revealed the Holy Quran in the grand night, Laylatul Qadr. Laylatul Qadr, the Fatima, which is the closest servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the closest lady to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Imam said, Man arafaha haqqa ma'arifatiha faqad adraka laylatul qadr. Whoever recognizes her, the true recognition, the recognition that she deserves, faqad adraka laylatul qadr, he has perceived, he has truly understood laylatul qadr. He has understood what the grand night is. The grand night, why is it so important? Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. The grand night, Laylatul Qadr, is better than 1,000 months, not 1,000 nights. It's one night, but it is 1,000 then, not 1,000 nights, but 1,000 months. That's more than 83 years. So how much better than 83 years? We don't know, but it is better. Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. It is better than 1,000 months. When the Imams were asked, Maula, why is it so? Our scholars have mentioned in their books that it was one night that is better than the 1,000 months, because the Quran was revealed in that one night, in Laylatul Qadr, in the grand night, the night of power, whatever you want to translate that as. And why is Fatimah Zahra better than all the women of the world? Because she gave to us 11 Imams, 11 Quran Natiq, 11 talking Qurans. Hassan Mushtaba to Imam al-Mahdi, all 11 Imams came from her womb and her progeny. So it was her progeny that the 11 Imams came, and she is therefore the mother of 11 talking Qurans. So each one of the Imam is Quran Natiq. Now, how is she directly related to the how do you relate her atrocities and her problems with the 12th Imam al-Islam? The 12th Imam has many, many similarities with many of the prophets and imams, and also Fatimah Zahra salam alayha. Like his mother, when she was expecting him, when her pregnancy was hidden, just like Ibrahim alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam. So Ibrahim and Musa alayhi salam, their mothers, people, because Namrud and Pharaoh, Namrud wanted to kill Ibrahim alayhi salam and Pharaoh wanted to kill Musa alayhi salam. So therefore, because those two tyrant rulers wanted to kill those two beloved prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so Allah was hiding when they were in the wombs of their mothers. Likewise, the 12th Imam alayhi salam, he was hidden. So likewise, people wanted to kill the 12th Imam alayhi salam, the Abbasids, and they could not tell. So he has many things common between him and the other prophets and Aimma alayhi salam. But some things he has common with Fatimah Zahra salamullah alayha. Number one, the 12th Imam alayhi salam or Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, just like Fatimah Zahra, they are both in hijab, they're both hidden. One is in ghaiba, one is in hijab. Her grave is hidden and he is in occultation. And Imam al-Mahdi is the manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attribute, ghaibul ghuyub. So he's hidden from the eyes, and she is in hijab and her grave is hidden. Likewise, her tragedies and her problems were hidden from the imams of her time, like Imam Ali alayhi salam, Imam Hassan and Hussein. They did not know the full extent of her masa'ib, and likewise the 12th Imam al-Islam, the full extent of his masa'ib is not known to the people. People today don't know what he goes through because he is in occultation. It is he who faces the most problems, in the sense that any problem that his followers are facing, he feels the pain. Likewise, whenever any of the masa'ib of any of the Aimma alayhi salam are mentioned, he feels the true pain of all of those masa'ib, especially the masa'ib of his grandmother Fatimah Zahra and the masa'ib of his aunt Zainab al-Kubra salamullahi alayhima. So there are other things which are common. Some things are common between all of the infallibles, like infallibility, like their knowledge, the special knowledge that they all have, ilm ladunni, or whatever you want to call it, ilm imamat. So he shares that with all of them. Infallibility he shares, but also one thing he shares is that his tragedies or his masa'ib that he's going through, not only they are hidden from the people, but they are common because Fatimah Zahra salam alayha faced certain problems from the people who call themselves Muslims. And likewise, the Imam alayhi salam faces many problems from the people who call themselves Muslims. Imam al-Mahdi will see many problems from the people who also call themselves Muslims, but they will rise against him. In the last part, I want to mention some of the words that Fatimah Zahra salamullah alayha had said about herself, and some of the titles that she was given. She was given many different titles, but one of them is Muhaddatha. And when the sixth Imam was asked what is the meaning of this title, he said that angels came down onto her. So someone who sees the angels, who can see the angels. Radiyah, one of her titles is Radiyah, that she is pleased with whatever Allah has destined for her. Mardiyah, that Allah is also pleased with every action that she has taken. Batul is one of the titles that she was given by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are two Batul. One is Maryam and the other is Fatima. That she does not miss any ibadat. She is clean and she is pure, and she sees no duration in her life where she does not worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of her other titles is Abiha. She is the mother of her own father, because the way she loved the Holy Prophet and the way she cared for him, he always said that it is as if you treat me like a mother than my than a daughter. So she loved the Holy Prophet. She was his daughter. So he said bada'atu minni, but he also respected her and loved her so much so that in some of the scholars have mentioned some reports that some of the wives of the Prophet asked him, Ya Rasulullah, why you always say that when children want to show respect to the parents, they should kiss the hands of the parents, and when the parents want to show their affection and love for their children, they should kiss them on their forehead or their cheek. Ya Rasulullah, why do you kiss Fatima on her cheek and on her hand? She said, because she has both relations with me. She is my daughter, but she's like a mother to me because of the love and the deep love that she shows for me. So this is one of the Abiha. This is one of the most beloved titles. This is one of my favorite titles about Fatima. And she is also Adra. She is Siddiqa Kubra, because she is the most truthful woman. And if anyone belies her, then they are liars, and she is always truthful. Her husband is given the title Siddiqul Akbar. He is a Siddiqul Akbar, the greatest Siddiq. The Holy Prophet ﷺ has a hadith, As-Siddiquna Thalasa. There are three Siddiqs. One of them is the one who gave witness for Musa alayhi salam, Hisqeel, and the other one is Habib al-Najjar. In Surah Yasin it says, وَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ يَسْعَى. A man came from the end of the city or the village, giving witnesses for the prophets who the people were about to kill. His name is Habib. He is also Siddiq. And the Holy Prophet said, but the greatest Siddiq, the greatest truthful person, as-Siddiqul Akbar, is Ali alayhi salam. So she is Siddiqa Kubra. She is the most truthful woman. So she is always right. And the proof is that the Holy Prophet took them to Mubahala. When they were going to Mubahala, in Surah Al Imran, verse number 67, inshallah, you'll read 61, you will read more details there. When the Christians came to Mubahala, and the Holy Prophet took Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, Fatima salam alayha, and Hassan and Hussein alayhi salam. So Fatima is Siddiqa Kubra. So that's another great title of Fatima to Zahra. She has many other titles, and some have also mentioned that she has 99 titles, just like her father, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam Ali never called her by her name. He never called her Fatima. He always called her Yibnat Rasulillah, or daughter of the Prophet. And she called him Abul Hassan. She called him father of Hassan. But Imam Ali salam showed her extreme respect. And her famous tasbih, 34 times Allahu Akbar, 33 times Alhamdulillah, 33 times Subhanallah, is mentioned in Bukhari and in Shia reports as well. So it is one of the greatest dhikr that we have. So her life and her relation with the 12th Imam alayhi salam is exemplary, that all of her titles, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, she is also Huda, and she is Hadiya, and Mahdiya, and she has a title similar to that of her father and her sons, her husband. So she is out of the 14 infallibles, the center of the virtues of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduces the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, Hum Fatimatu wa abuha wa ba'luha wa banuha. It is the five holy personalities are Fatima, her father, her husband, and her sons. So Allah introduces the Ahlul Bayt through her, because He is introducing the Ahlul Bayt, the holy household. Whenever you have a dispute on a personality, if they belong to the holy household or not, then you refer them back to Fatima to Zahra. If they are mahram and related in blood with Fatima to Zahra, then they are amongst the holy household. And if they are not related to Fatima through blood, then they are not amongst the holy household family of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are many still things to talk about her life. Inshallah, we only touched upon a few angles and a few dimensions of her life. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may He give us more tawfiq and more potential to understand her better and to learn about her life and about her tragedies. Wa akhiru da'wana an alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.